I mean, sorry, folks. Technical hitch. Gremlins in the system. Zoom went bonkers and wouldn't let anybody in doing anything. So I don't know what's happened there.
Mine also seems to have a filter. I can't take it off. I quite like it. It's got all my wrinkles and everything. I'm like, this isn't how I actually look. And I kept trying to take it off, but it's not letting me. So, oh.
So I do apologise, everyone, those that you've just come in. I've been battling with gremlins. James, are you in Australia? You're upside down. Yeah, Zoom went a bit bonkers, so I'll just give people a couple of minutes. So sorry, everybody. James, you're still upside down. Can't hear you either, you're on mute. Okay, we'll crack on. If anybody else comes in, I'll let them in. So my apologies, those of you that are new, it is not normally like this. It usually runs so smoothly, doesn't it, Katie? Usually runs so smoothly. There's never any mistakes, never any hitches or anything like that. And if you believe it, I'll tell you another. So welcome everybody. Thank you very much. You are here for the People of Pendle meeting, is that right? I don't want you being here for flower arranging or, you know, looking at the London Bridge or anything like that. This is actually People of Pendle. So so thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for bearing with me as well. And I'm going to launch straight in and ask our Lisa if she's doing a spotlight today on volunteering for health, and it's an LACVS project. So thank you, Lisa. Take it away while I go and have a lie down.
Okay. Do you want me to bring a flannel down? So I'm Lisa. I know a few of the faces around here. So I'm doing a project with LACVS at the moment, and it's called Volunteering for Health. It's a project that was funded by the government. We got £10 million to work alongside the NHS and other partners within Lancashire 12 to forge sort of partnerships, break down the barriers to volunteering, develop guidance and best practice. We want to understand the impact of volunteering in Lancashire, and we want to be able to work alongside the NHS and have portability of volunteers. And essentially to do this, right at this sort of early stages, we're just at the beginning of this and it's a 2-year project. We need to establish these partnerships. Now, these have to be across Lancashire, and Pendle is a really important part of this, because if we're going to have these enabling environments across Lancashire, then we have to have people from all bits of it involved. So to start off with, what we've decided to do is put together a partnership for Lancashire. And this is a partnership anyone who's involved with volunteering can attend just once a month, very similar to this. In fact, same as this essentially, but you will get to be alongside people from the other side of Lancashire, find out what's happening over there, look at making links with them. But you'd also be part of something else we're putting together, which is a vision for volunteering for Lancashire. So at the moment, there are lots of different visions for volunteering. There are the national ones through NAVCA, and then there are smaller ones that, you know, small organisations have. We are looking at putting together a vision for volunteering specifically for Lancashire. For this, we need your input. We can't put it together without it. What we want to be able to do is utilise this, take it to government, take it to the NHS, take it to funders and say, this is what Lancashire needs. In the terms of volunteering, this is what Lancashire needs. and a lot of it will revolve around funding and making sure that we are talking to people within that sphere who can actually make impact and actually have can get behind us. So I'm here today basically to say, if you'd like to come to our forum, it's actually tomorrow morning, which I know is very short notice, but what I will try and do is put the link for signing up in the chat. Otherwise, I will ask very politely if it could be emailed out today. The other thing we're doing in regards to the vision for volunteering is we have put some surveys together. So we've got one people who work with volunteers and one for people who either are volunteers or are residents. So we can kind of work out where the gaps are and work out where people don't either have access for volunteering and things like that. Now, I do know, Little Bird told me that Pendle is very well serviced for volunteer support. However, other areas aren't. So the idea is you have a voice. You have a voice at a table that we don't usually get to put together. We don't usually get a voice that has access. So every month I have a meeting with the other 15 partners around the UK, and we have access to ministers from government, and we have access to people quite high up in the NHS who are decision makers. So we never have this. It's such a unique opportunity. And I literally need everyone's voices. I need people to come to me and go, Lisa, I need this to be told to people. They need to know that this is happening in Pendle or this isn't happening in Pendle, so that when we put our vision together, we can make it as rounded and as impactful as possible. So that's me. I know I got told 5 minutes, so I've tried to keep it as concise as I could. If anyone has any questions or wants to know more or anything at all, I'll also put my email in the chat too. And that's it. So yeah.
Thanks, Lisa. Lisa, is there somebody talking in the background there?
Yes, unfortunately there is. Sorry. We were really quiet and then it wasn't. Sorry about that.
I'll send you a quick text to say I'm going to ring you.
We can hear it fully now. It is a bit distracting, is that? Now, some are asking if you've got a short write-up that we can send out to everybody, that'd be really good, along with the details of tomorrow's forum. We can send that out today. Our Lorna will send it out today. And get it sent out.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Has anybody got any questions for Lisa, bearing in mind that she's got somebody shouting in her ear roll? No, I don't think so. Yeah, this is about learning from each other as well. You know, like Lisa said, there are some areas that aren't as well serviced for volunteers and volunteer support as others. And what we want to do is learn from areas like Pendle and Burnley and Rosendale, where that volunteering support is quite good, and spread that word, you know, get volunteers to be as well supported in other areas like is it Blackpool, Lisa? Blackpool's one of them, I think. Blackpool, Blackburn.
So as Lancashire, I cover Lancashire 12, so I have all the 12 districts. We then have the unitaries, so we have Blackpool and Blackburn, and then we have South Cumbria. So yeah, it is very difficult for places like Chorley to understand how amazing it is over this end of the county, because they have so little. They have a guy in the council who literally tears his hair out and says, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Those people learning and putting into practice what happens in other areas is vital, but it also gives us then the opportunity to show how we can you know, invest into Lancashire. So a big part of this is around investment and making sure that, because the NHS now have their 10-year plan, a lot of that is to bring volunteering into the community, to cover services, and that could involve people. So that's going to involve small groups, it's going to involve community-based assets, it's going to involve all sorts of stuff. So you don't know whether or not in 2 years, 3 years, you're going to actually be involved in that. So we are working with the NHS very closely to try and get that to work and try and get that to become sort of viable for the area as well, and make it attractive, make Lancashire really attractive, make it so that when people talk about best practice, they do talk about, you know, Lancashire, and they can hold Pendle up and go, look at this, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
that's okay.
Thanks, Lisa. So we'll get that information. Is that all right with everybody? If we're getting that information out and that information on the forum tomorrow, we know it's short notice. So if you can't go, don't worry about it. I'm sure we can invite Lisa back and she can talk about how it's progressing and how we can help. So Lisa's just put her email address in the chat. If you want to email Lisa directly, that's fine. And I'm going to move swiftly on, if that's all right, Lisa. I'm going to move on. Is there anyone here from Home Start? I'm looking around the screen and no, there isn't. So I know Anne has been on this agenda a couple of times. I'm going to email Anne again and just ask her, you know, she might have struggled getting on this time because we know that there were gremlins in the system. So I'll move on to the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership update. Jill can't be with us today. So you're left with me, unfortunately. I'm gonna natter your ears off for another couple of minutes. So an update on the Lancashire County Council Adult Social Care and Social Connections project. We are meeting, CVS are meeting with Burnley Council, Pendle Council and Rosendale Council next week. I don't know whether it's next week or this week. My mind's a blank. To discuss the element that, and we've talked about a befriending scheme, which is massively needed, and a specific social connector for hoarding. So we know that hoarding's a problem right the way across Burnley, Pendle and Rosendale and other areas. So we've talked about that. So I'm going to try and get agreement from all the councils that we can do that and we can go ahead. The befriending it's all in the planning stages at the moment, but we've talked about befriending, telephone befriending, and maybe involving the colleges around, you know, the students that are on social care or public service courses that could volunteer so many hours a week, you know, even if it's just a couple of hours a week, just to do that telephone befriending things, because we think that intergenerational stuff's quite important as well. So watch this space for that. Update on People of Pendle health gathering. It went fantastically well. For those of you that were there, please do nod. They all, I think the highlight was over 100 people doing the hokey cokey partway through. That was quite good. Now, those of you that weren't there are going, what the hell? See, I told you it's a party wherever I am. So the hokey cokey was the first thing that sprung to mind when we talked about getting people moving again after they've been sat thinking for a while. And it really did. Katie and I were spectacular at the hokey cokey, weren't we? Especially the whole self in. But yeah, we had a great time. However, we did do some work as well. And we found, I've just got some brief feedback. Jill will give a fuller report, I'm sure. But I'll just pick some bits out. Engagement isn't great in Barrowford. People don't know what's on offer. There's lots going on, but people aren't aware of it. They've talked about transport schemes, and I talked about community cars. We talked about council services, meaning therapy, mental health and issues with language barriers and a lack of provision. It's an issue around language barriers. They talked about partnership working together, and working together is key for stronger funding bids and stronger communities. The need for PCN Council to come out to community so we can work together and we know the community. So that what they meant were the community organisations know the community. So pull on that expertise. They feel better connected because of meetings like this, the People of Pendle meeting. LGBT support needed, not social groups. So they talked about there's plenty of social groups, but not a lot of support groups. There's limited provision for food poverty, especially around young people. Need help around recruitment for volunteering, training, etc. But again, that's about not getting the message out there. So we need to spread that message far and wide. Rural areas, accessing other areas can be difficult due to funds. Accessing funding to help projects is an issue, and so it was a good time had by all, but there was a lot of information that was given and received from there. The event on the day was held at Funderland. It was kindly given free of charge. It was a long, big room, but I think we managed to fill it. I think I managed to fill it on my own. And people thought it was great to make links. It was great to network, really useful to connect up with everybody. So great to have everyone under one roof with the same mission, which was really good. A great opportunity to take part. Networking face to face with other services is great. What does it say? Learning about other organisations, their aims and objectives, and how there could be more working together and sharing can only be a good thing. And they liked the venue, they liked the food. There was an amazing spread on the food, but people thought there were suggestions for improvement, and there was a lot of writing involved. What you say, who are you, who is your service, who do you target, what services do you provide. There was a lot of writing involved, and people did lose a bit of interest there. The activities did seem a little chaotic, and the facilitators, a facilitator on a particular table needed more instruction. So I don't know who that was, but yes, we've taken it all on board, and they've said that they want more events like this in Pendle, which is really good. So we asked whether people would be interested in future events just like that one, and the result was 95.7% said yes, definitely, and there was 4.3% that said maybe, and no one said no. So we must have done something right. So that were pretty good. So I think that's all. So I'm sure that Jill and Danielle and Co and Leanne, who's on our meeting today, will come up with a far better report than I've just given. But that's the general gist of it. It was well received. There was a lot of information given and received. There are some lovely people who work for Pendle Leisure who are working on the gaps in services and where things are concentrated. And we're going to have some information on that soon as well. So I'll send that out to you all, or somebody will present on that at the next People of Pendle meeting, if that's okay with everybody. So my next bit is, has anybody got any questions about the health gathering, by the way, just before I move on? No? No? Okay. All right. So what I usually ask at this point is if anybody's got any regular themes or things that are coming through their service that is a bit concerning, that you would like Jill and I to feed up into the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership that would form part of their action plan. So do you think these are any themes coming through? There's been themes before on what can I say? Poverty is always a big thing, and budgeting is always a big thing. And there were some concerns around single mums in particular resorting to sex work, or potentially resorting to sex work because cost of living crisis, energy bills have gone up, everything's gone up, and it was just impossible for them to manage. So that was fed up into the Health and Wellbeing Partnership Catherine.
Sorry, it's not a new theme, Tracy, but you did mention a care connector around hoarding. So I was
Yeah.
just wondering what that was looking like and sort of how that had come about. Has that come from our persistent sort of ironing around it?
I think it's come from several different directions all at once, to be honest, Catherine. It actually came from Rosendale at first. And I said, well, it's funny you should say that because, you know, we've been talking about it in Pendle. Burnley's also mentioned it. So I don't think there's going to be any problem. It's just the technicalities that we need to sort out. And that social connector will work with the rest of our social prescribing team. But there will be a specific social connector that will be a specialist in hoarding at some point.
Can I just ask, because this is worrying me.
Yeah.
Catherine knows what I'm going to say. So, how are they a specialist in hoarding, Tracy? Because myself and Catherine have been to quite a few seminars with Ian Porter, a psychologist, and people think they know what to do with hoarders, and it's deep rooted and it's massive. So, unless you get the right people involved, we've been doing it for years now and still haven't got it right because it needs a service, and one person would not be able to do it. It needs a full group of people, and they've done it in Heimburn. They did the Heimburn way, so we could follow on from that. Do you agree, Catherine?
Yeah.
That were pretty good. But I think one person saying they're a specialist, unless they've had training and everything, is not
Okay.
going to work.
That's just me saying that.
All right.
That's just those that I could put a name to
Yeah.
it. It's not going to be just one person working with hoarders. We know that it's a massive issue.
Yeah.
We know that it's so deep seated. It does, like you said, it needs a full team of people to work with one
Yeah.
person that's doing that. So we're not going into this naively. It's just that we know we need somebody that will connect people up to services that can potentially help them if they agree to it. But there's some work needs doing with that person before they will engage with any services that could potentially help them.
Yeah, they need a buddy system, so it
Yeah.
can take years. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So please don't worry, Kim. It's not going to be, woo, this is fixed. It's not. We know that that's not going to happen.
But it is a worry, that, Tracy, because you hear things all the time about hoarding and folk think, oh, go in, we'll do this, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't work.
No,
So
I know.
listen to people like the psychologist who's worked with it, you know, and knows, sorry.
Yeah. And I've listened to all of you, and I know that it's not a quick fix. It does take years. It's massively deep seated and can be rooted in childhood. You know, there's a lot of psychological reasons why somebody would hoard. So yeah, it's not going to be a blind, oh, this social connector is going to sort out everything. There will be one social connector working across 3 areas, so that would be impossible.
Yeah.
You know, all it is that connections up, and maybe, you know, doing that research, what is needed for hoarders. So if this is a short-term project, what is needed for hoarders? And if we can put that to the powers that be, then all well and good. And we will be calling on you.
I think the thing that Kim and I have asked, I mean, I've mentioned it to Jill Dickinson at the council as well, is whether or not they would support having a project like the Heimburn Way in Pendle. I mean, that demonstrates how you actually engage all different services, but it was led by the psychologist. And I think that's what we need, so that he's left them now in a position where they've got peer support groups, where the staff have had training. It's a much, much bigger, I think, if the council want to look at how to do it, I think we need to look at a proper project.
Okay, I'll pass that on. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Kim. Anybody else got any themes or Kater?
Yeah, just to say, obviously, a lot of our drop-ins tend to be in places at food banks and things like that. I think rather than going quieter this time of year, they're actually getting busier. I know during the holidays sometimes the amount of people that they have going through the doors are getting less. And I've got more parents and families coming to me asking about emergency food, because we do emergency food vouchers for people. So I think the amount of money we're getting is just less than it was. Well, just going less far, if you like. So I think that
Yeah.
that emergency funding is just not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Katie. No? Okay, we'll move on then.
Sorry, Tracy, I've got my hand up. It's Leanne.
Oh, sorry, Leanne, yeah.
Okay, love. Just on the back of what Katie said, I wasn't going to say anything really because I'm not really sure where I'm at with it yet, but just on the back of what Katie was saying about emergency food provision. So I'm new into post as community engagement officer with the council, and it's a post really that it's a new title, let's say. It's not completely new to the council. I work under Jill and the policy team, but part of my first objective has been to go out and deliver all of the food provisions that we have, like emergency food provisions across Pendle. So predominantly I visited those that have a recipients of the Household Support Fund, but I've also been out and visited churches, Salvation Armies, Church on the Streets, community cafes, just to sort of get a feel for exactly what's going on, how people feel, you know, members of the community, those people that we are serving, how they feel when they're approaching those provisions, and actually what the barriers are. And those services, like you've got your corner open door that have got quite a heavy footfall, that lots of people come in and out for various reasons, not just for food, but for training courses, for counselling, for birthday presents, to use the computers. Those places get a lot of attention through social media, or they're just in the town centre. But when I've found that I've visited provisions that are not funded by the Household Support Fund, that are relying purely on donations from the community, they're very, very, very sparse, and they're really, really struggling. For volunteers as one, because they can't, once they invest time in a volunteer, that volunteer obviously moves on and gets a job, which is exactly what we want, but they're also struggling to meet the demand of the service users. And I went to one the other day, and they've actually started, well, they've continued since lockdown, but instead of allowing people in to the centre and asking them what the needs are, they ask them over an intercom. So they're on the street saying their name, their address, why they need food provision, how long they're going to need it for, and what the circumstances are, you know, including the date of birth. And they've got to say these details in the street. And I was actually behind an individual whilst he, you know, gave his responses, and I felt very much as though, or, you know, this, if it was me, then I probably wouldn't cross that threshold. The biggest barrier should be going in and asking for help, not being challenged. And actually they're not even understanding what the wider needs are of that person, because they probably just want to get what they need and leave in those cases. So I think there's a lot of wider support that we could be providing to, or offering, or not really sure what yet. I'm just still getting to the nitty-gritty of what we can really do for those services that don't have that funding, but they definitely have the need. I bumped into a lady in Pendle Food for All the other day who had never accessed a community grocery or a food bank, but she lived in Barnoldswick. She'd lost her job for the first time in her life of being unemployed, and she had £6 in a purse, and she needed to go to the job centre to provide an identification. She didn't want to use the food bank in Barnoldswick because it's only operational one day a week, and also she was ashamed. You know, the stigma of using a food bank, she felt really ashamed. So she walked to Nelson from Barnoldswick, went to the job centre appointment, went to the Pendle Food for All, bought her shopping there because she felt more comfortable doing that, and then walked all the way back to Barnoldswick because there wasn't any other support available for her to get food where she didn't feel that shame and stigma. So I definitely think that it feeds into what Katie said, but there's definitely a theme coming up, and it does worry me as we get in we're going to be moving into the colder months, what it's going to look like for our families. Obviously, at the moment, we've got things like half, where we know that kids are going to get a warm meal during the middle of the day, but it's about the wider community needs, I think.
Okay, thanks, Leanne. Thank you. Anybody want to add anything? No. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. I've been making notes as we've gone along, and they'll be fed into the Pendle Health and Wellbeing Partnership. So we'll move swiftly on to the information sharing. So this is when I go around the screen and ask if anybody's got information they'd like to share. Please bear in mind we finish at 3 o'clock. I'm just letting you know we'll finish dead on 3 o'clock. So if you've got any events or anything that you'd want to talk about just for a couple of minutes, please do so. And if you've nothing to say, it doesn't matter. You can say, I've got nothing today, Trace, and I will move swiftly on to the next person. So I'm going to just go around my screen as it is. So Leanne, I know you've just finished talking, but she hasn't got anything. Okay, Jez, would you like to say no, nothing? Kim? No. Oh, Catherine? No. Nikki?
If I could just take 2 minutes, that would be
Of course
great.
you can. Of course you can.
For those of you who I have not met yet, my name is Nikki. I am the NHS Health Checks Manager at FCMS. And it was really just to introduce myself and just to give you a very brief overview of the service that we provide. And hopefully if there's anything that we might be able to link in with you guys, any health and wellbeing events or anything like that that we may be able to assist with, we'd be more than happy to speak. So an NHS health check, for those of you who don't know, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes. You are eligible for one if you are aged between the ages of 40 and 74. FCMS cover all 12 districts of Lancashire with the exception of Blackpool and Blackburn with Darwin. And what we do is we look at your BMI, blood pressure, we look at your cholesterol levels, and we can also look at glucose levels as well if needs be. And we talk to the patients about their general lifestyle choices, smoking, drinking, diet, exercise. And what we do is we share the results with the patient's GP practice. Basically, we can do this via point of care testing. We can do it inside a venue, whether it be a community centre, a GP surgery. We go to different employers. We've got ones coming up at Lancashire County Council and DPD and those sorts of places. But we can also do community events. So we've got our mobile health checks vehicle that has 2 private clinical cubicles in it. And we will basically rock up anywhere we can, a supermarket car park, as say community centres, wherever we can really. It's a completely free service. So obviously, like I say, any health and wellbeing events that you might have or anything that you think might fit in with us being able to provide these health checks to members of the community, please get in touch. I will drop my email address in. I can send you some literature. And yeah, we'll do our very best to try and support. Thank you.
Fab. Thanks, Nikki. Just speaking of events, just while I'm remembering, I'm helping Bradley Big Local Partnership to organise 2 events, the first one being on the 14th of August. Anybody is welcome. Anybody's welcome to come along. All we're asking is that you bring your own table and your own chair because we haven't got enough for everybody. We're hoping it's going to be a fine day because we're out on the field and in the Hodge House in the building. So 14th of August, 12 noon till 4 o'clock. And we have got a variety of stalls. We've got about 30 stalls at the moment. There will also be a bouncy castle. Pendle Leisure Trust are putting on some old-fashioned games, you know, like sack races, egg and spoon race, that kind of thing. So we're going to get the families involved. CVS will be there. We'll be doing some stuff. And there'll be various others there as well. I can't remember them all. My menopause brain won't let me remember 30 odd stalls. But you're more than welcome to come along. I'll put something in the chat. You just email me if you fancy having a space for a stall. So thank you very much. Michelle, Janet, have you got anything that you want to? No. Okay, James, I'm told that you would like to plug Spinning Memories. James is looking shocked now.
Yes. No. Hello, Tracy. Yeah. No. It's going really well, and a big thank you to Steve. Steve's with us today. We've done 2 sessions, and we've got a third one planned for the 14th of August. And I really think it's working, and I think it will continue to work. So it is for people who have memory problems, but also for social isolation. It's a lovely group, thanks to Steve and Val, who had the creative flair. But people can sort of come and go as they please, and the feedback I'm getting back from clients is wonderful. But it's nice to be able to sell it in that sense, sort of like people can literally pop in for 5 minutes or stay for the 2 hours. And yes, I think we're just all hoping we'll have more dates soon and can work in it from there. And just a big thank you to Steve, who does all the hard work really in that sense.
Well,
Steve's the DJ. Steve's the DJ. Steve does the music, I should say. So Steve does the hard work. But yeah, people seem to be really enjoying it. We've got Albert House involved, Enable You involved, working on other care homes at the moment. So I think it will just grow. Pendle West have been fantastic. They've come on board. So it is across Pendle in that sense.
well, that's great. That sounds really good, James.
And
Oh,
it's just a nice afternoon, Tracy. It
Yeah.
is just giving, you know, I think as been mentioned today, people are facing major challenges as we all know, and somewhere where people can just go and sort of let their hair down is really important in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve's got issues with his microphone and his camera. That's why I can't contribute in person, but he is putting things in the chat. Team effort, he said, join us at the Muni on the 14th. So so please do Spinning Memories. It sounds like a great thing.
Yeah, and we'll let you know as soon as we get more dates. The last of the pilot is the 14th of August. We're hoping to have dates confirmed soon. Simon from the Leisure Trust is coming along on the 14th, the CEO. And yeah, the more people get involved, the better. And as I said, the main thing, clients are leaving happy in that sense.
Fab. Fab sounds great. Thanks, James. And Steve, thank you very much. Joanne. New Era always have something going on.
Hiya, everybody. It's only to say, just over the 6-week holidays, we've got one of our primary year family courses coming on. It'll start on Wednesday, the 6th of August, run for every Wednesday throughout August, but we're also putting on a kids club free for children 0 to 11, just to make it a little bit easier for parents and carers. So if I drop the link over to Lorna to send out to everybody, and that's it from us. Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne. Thank you very much. Katie. You're on mute.
Sorry, just to say we've just
For every time I say that.
in the last 5 years, we've employed another deck coach now, who's just finished a training and just started seeing clients. So we're now seeing 10 new deck clients a month on face-to-face home visits based debt support. And we're already booking up till October with that. We're trying to see people before then if we can. And we will be launching our job club in September alongside the DWP. That's going to be one in Burnley, one in Nelson, and I'll send out the information once we've got everything for that finalised. And we're going to be running live skills again in September up on the Birtwistle Community Centre in Colne. I don't know, I'm pointing, but it's up that way. So we're going to be doing that on a Monday afternoon, and I'll send the information out for that as and when. I'm sorry, my dog keeps coming and harassing me while I'm trying to talk. So I do. If you see like something coming over, I'm pushing it down. Right.
Thank you, Katie. Sarah? No? Okay. And Mevish, last but not least. Is she there? I think she's filming.
Maybe I think her screen's crashed, but she said she has
Okay.
nothing to add.
She has nothing to add. Okay. Okay, so we're done, I think. I'm really sorry about being late starting. It was just, I suddenly thought 5 to 2. I thought I'd better just check this link. Otherwise, we would have still been trying to start now. So, but I would have done what I did last time and sent out a Teams meeting to everybody. And so sod it, we'll do a Teams meeting instead. So thank you very much, everybody. Please don't forget about your acts of kindness. Our tree is filling up nicely. I think we need to take some photographs and see our kindness tree for our 90th anniversary. It's filling up nicely. So any acts of kindness that you've done, that you do regularly, or that you would like to do, please do either send them to me or send them to our Tom, and I'll just put Tom's email address in the chat. And I'm trying to talk and type at the same time, and this is not easy. It's like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. So yeah, please send in, and any publicity that you've got, anything that you want publicising, any events, anything, you know, any training courses or any, you know, like your last skills course, Katie, or anything like that, please do send it in to us and send it through to you can send it to me or Lorna or Tom, and we'll make sure that it goes into our newsletter and gets out there onto the People of Pendle page. Don't forget our web page, by the way. We've got a People of Pendle web page that has up-to-date information on there, and we send the link out to all members every month, just so that you can have a look on that rather than being bombarded with loads of emails. So, but if there's anything that's time sensitive, please do give us a shout, and we'll send it out straight away if there's something time sensitive. So look at us early. We're early this time. So thank you very much for engaging and being so. I think people are going to turn up at 3 o'clock, aren't they? I better stop on, aren't I? And see if people, because Zoom just, I think it's got its knickers right in a twist today. So thank you very much, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and we'll have more of an update around the health gathering next time. It'll be put together in a lovely report, I'm sure, and we'll have more information for you. So thank you, but continue sending in your information to us, and have a lovely afternoon. See, you've got a secret like 5-10 minutes now, so you could go and scarve off. I won't tell anybody if you want to go and scarve off for a bit. I won't tell anybody that we finished early. James, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell, honestly, I won't. I won't tell anybody that you're scarving off. Just go and eat a bar of chocolate, or go and sit in the sunshine, or have a walk around the block, or go and sit in a darkened room with your eyes shut for a bit. I think that's what I'm going to do. But whatever you do, look after yourselves, and I'll see you next month. Thank you very much, everybody. Bye.